Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be taking a look at what might be considered, in my opinion, one of the greatest pieces of video game music I have ever heard, but only very recently. We're going to be taking a look at the game Turok 2, Seeds of Evil for the N64 and for PC. The track is called the Port of Adia, and it's by a guy called Darren Mitchell. Now, about 3 weeks ago, I heard this for the very first time, and I was blown. Like, just absolutely mind-blowing how, one, I'd never heard it before, and two, just how incredible this track is. I get pretty excited about very specific video game music, and this, like, after listening to it as much as I have, I'm just like, oh my god, this is incredible. Easily top 20 best video game tracks of all time, possibly in my top 10, I don't know, that's always a hard one to say, but top 20, top 15, this track is incredible. I want to preface this by saying there is a lot to break down here. I will try not to stop it too often, but I want to try and describe the effect of what is being played here. This piece of music already is made up of a lot of string sections, and that creates a lot of why this track is as good as it is. So, yeah, bear with me while I try to get through that and explain it. There is also a PC version of this, which is also just as good as the N64 version, but today we're just going to take a look at the N64 version. I feel like that's the version that most people remember. And if you don't know, Turok is a first-person shooter. Anyway, it's a game that was based around these big open environments, doing, like, collecting keys, doing puzzles, shooting dinosaurs. And yeah, this is one of the most incredible pieces I've ever heard on the N64. So let's just play. I'm going to play maybe like 30 seconds, and then we'll come back and start to address the track. I honestly don't think I've heard anything like this on the N64 in any other game ever until I heard this, and it's like that amount of tension that the strings are building there. So, if you break it down, you've got two things that are very obvious to start with. You've got the violin just going da 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 da, like, so it's playing like a very rhythmic part, but very fast. And it's that type of I'm probably going to get this wrong. I think it's staccato. It's very short notes, so kind of sound on the violin. What it took me a while to realise was it's actually playing along the same drum beat. So you got the drum beats going. Like, it's got this particular beat that particular violin is sort of playing along with it, and you will notice that the drum beat and the violin parts are constantly matching up with each other. So the reason why this track emanates a very epic, very tension-filled track is because it's very rhythmic and it's playing along to the drums. So you've got this sort of marching snare drum going on, along with this very short, sharp, stabbing effects that the violins are portraying. And in context of the game, it's the first level in the game. You want to leave an impression on the player. So you create this, you're off on an adventure, you are the main character, go, and that builds and works very well for what it's trying to portray. The other thing with both the first game and the second game that I've noticed, there's a lot of rhythmic and a lot of drums and things like that built into the tracks, because you play as a Native American, I believe. Like, Turok is the mantle given to the character you're playing, but I believe he is a Native American character. So they use a lot of like tribal drums and stuff, and lots of rhythm incorporated with other sounds and effects to give the music a very warlike but also tribal feel. And I think that's what kind of makes the music unique. Anyway, let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. So drums. That's what the exact same thing the violins are doing. And then you get the cellos like wom wom underneath, which gives it more of a tribal feel. Then you get the second set of violins coming. So you've got the ones just going da 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 da, which is very rhythmic, very much the setting the tempo. Then you get the second set that are coming in that are playing a bit more of a melody, and they're playing again short, sharp notes, but still playing sort of a melody now. And another violin da, 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 underneath, and then we add on to that again. They're playing either higher notes or a high octave. So, how do you increase the tension of what's already being played? I know, let's add on another layer and play excuse me, and play what the low part was playing, the da 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 bit. Let's play that even higher. And what basically is being created here is a very contained set of notes along with the drum beats and the wom wom underneath it before the track sort of explodes, if you will. All that's being done in this first 55 seconds of this track is the creation of tension with high moving string parts, and string parts that are, like I said, staccatoed and also playing the same note over and over and over. So if we go back just a little bit. So when that high part comes in, the track is filled out. And then they double up on the part that was already going, it was now getting another set. So basically what's happening here is you've got the layers. So it's like beginning bit in the drums, then the sort of cello as well, and then we get like a bit more of a melody coming played. Then we got the higher part of what was already being played down here, and now we've got this even higher part that's playing even higher than this. So it's building, and it's building by going up the notes essentially. So it starts off like lowish, sort of medium to low, then we get higher. And that gives this idea of it's building up and up and up and up and up, because it's going up, I guess octaves, it might not be octaves, but it's going up basically the scales and things. So you basically create this almost louder, going from lower to louder. And it works incredibly well, right? We're only a minute into the track, and the track itself has become, it's just got tension. There's lots of tension being held there. So let's just go back to 50 seconds. You can just see it's all built together. It's all playing. And then that drops out. And it drops back down to like one less layer. And then we get our first change. So the first minute and 24 seconds essentially are you know, beginning of the game. We've got to build up the fact that, you know, there's crap going on in this world. There's tension. How do we build that? We use a lot of strings. We use a snare drum, primarily sort of marching band style snare drum, and and a ton of rhythmic things going on while going up and up and up the notes to create that height in tension and give that sort of epic feel that it's building towards something. This track reminds me very much of some of the stuff that's in Unreal Tournament. It's obviously at a similar time in the 90s where FPS music was kind of like pretty crazy, and yeah. So We'll just drop it back a couple seconds. Now we get our first change in the track. We've had that build. Right. Now, keen people that could hear it, the piano that came in there was going doodle 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 doodle, was playing the exact same beat as what the drum was doing. So you break it down, it drops out, the tension is built and built and built, it drops out, you finally get your first change. You get this piano coming, this bow 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 bow, while to the like the beat going on, and then you got this orchestra, essentially not orchestra, sorry. Vocal chords, this sort of choir vocal that is playing, just holding these notes, these long notes, and just the tension hasn't gone, it's just dropped to a different level. So you have that build and build and build, and then boom, now we've got the tension being held by different instruments, and it's the change required. You know, you can build and you can build and you can build, but you need it to drop out, you need something to change, and that's what we get here. Oh, back a little bit. So listen to the piano and the drums. The choir just holds those notes. And then we change again. And now we've got more strings. What is interesting about that part is you've got 3 string sections going on. You've got the better, basically playing. You've got the and then you've got the cello, which is sort of, I'm not sure if it's on the offbeat. I need to listen to it again, but play like a counter melody to what the main part is playing there, while all the time you've got on the other. So you've got 3 sets of stringed instruments essentially playing there, all playing different things. And this is what I mean, like there's a lot of cross rhythms and polyrhythms and stuff going on in this track, which will be more apparent later on. But the track is heavily rhythmic, and that is part of what builds and keeps the track flowing, because you've got to think there's not that many instruments. It's mostly strings, it's a drum beat, and then you got the piano and the choir, but because it's so chaotic, but melodic and chaotic at the same time, you get this movement of the music, so it's constantly evolving and changing, but that tension never goes. It sort of dips about in places, but the tension of the track is still just like go 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 go. It's like constantly there. If we just re-listen to that per section, I can find there. Alright. So now we have to change with the 3 different string sections, right? Over there. And then the one underneath. We're only like 2 minutes into the track. Just the piano now. Hell of a lot of like reverb on it. Dun 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 dun. And the drums are still following that section up. Now we're back to that section again. Just mainly the strings. Right. So now the next sort of change. We've had a few changes in that section, but they were repeating sections. So now we're going for an actual change here. So we've gone back to the just some strings, and then other strings coming in behind those. Drums the entire time. Notice that the melodies that get played here aren't particularly long. So you're hearing that like there is melody here in this track, but none of them are long, crazy melodies. Nothing that is specifically. The melodies stand out for being short and to the point, and constantly changing. Because I think once you start going for a much more like a proper written melody, it loses what the track has, which is a lot of momentum, which is a lot of to the point sounding instruments. It's trying to keep that tension going. Even though this part of the track is calmed a bit, the tension's still there. You still got bump, 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 bump behind the whole thing with the drums, with a lot of the violins and things playing along with it. And now it's sort of just building again, right? Just building and building. And then it's suddenly gone louder again. And then we've got multiple string sections with a bomb, bomb, bomb behind all that. Comes back to higher notes. That tension's building again. And now we're repeating our first phase again, rebuilding that tension. So it should, yeah, drops out a bit there. They could have easily looped the track there, and that be the 3 minutes and 55 seconds of the track. Essentially, is just tension, just insane amount of tension, because it's repeating the first section, then you have the sort of swapping of piano and the violins, trying to mix it up a bit, but keeping that tension there. Then you're back to maximum tension, and now we get quite the change going forward for the rest of this track. So now we've just got the drums. And now we've got a second set of drums. Right. Listen to the way that the drums bounce off each other. I'm just going to shut up for a minute and let you guys listen to it. That drum break is such a good change from the rest of the track, right? The drums have been the driving force behind all of it anyway. So you've got obviously the violins are doing the short stab notes, so that it's keeping your attention. The track is very hectic, it's very chaotic, it's got that lot of tension. The drums for the entire time are constantly doing a there is change and variation there, but that's basically what you've gotten for the entire track. How do you bring things down a bit? How do you bring it down a notch but keep that momentum? You drop out a lot of the track and you have the drums just playing. Because the thing is, the reason why you want dynamics in this track, and what I mean by that is you want those high points, those high energy points, and you need some low energy. These levels in this game are designed to be puzzle heavy. There's obviously a lot of shooting going on. There are going to be times where you're going to stop and look around at what you're doing and trying to figure things out. The music's trying to reflect that now. It's not trying to eliminate all the tension and all that. It's keeping the momentum going. It's still high paced. But bringing in a second drum and then going fully rhythmic and bouncing off each other. If I just play that bit again, it's crazy. Just the way it, the track's built and built and built and built, right? I need to give the player a bit of a breather. Alright? Okay, it's clearer, it's easier to sort of think. Second drum beat comes in, and now we just get this sort of drum bounce off. Offbeats, lots of a polyrhythm. You don't see this a lot. Oh, sorry, you don't hear this a lot in video game music. that simplicity of that melody, right? We've brought the track down. The drums are still going hard though. And you come in with a lower string section and you play a very basic melody in the sense that it goes do 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 do, but the notes aren't like no 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 across the time thing. It's calmer. It's a calmer part of the track before it all explodes again, and so you get this melody that's on top of the drums. And that one pluck note. And you got the pluck dung, the pluck notes going a bit, little subtlety things. Alright, now we start to build again, but in a different way. We're getting that melody with little other melodies playing around it. Those plucked notes, those dung, 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 like it's playing like I believe the root notes of the chords. But it's quite clever. They're there, but that's not your focus. Your focus is the fact that we've now got parts of these strings coming back in different parts and playing different things around each other. Like long held notes now. Building back up to those faster, shorter notes, and this is where it starts to build back up to that tension that the track held at the beginning. And then we're sort of back to where we started. This build with these strings is beautiful. I love that. Bum 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 ba da 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 ba da 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 da. We got da 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 da. Just keep building on that. So cool. It's so cool. And then it just goes back into the start of the track. And that's kind of where the track loops. We go back to the beginning at this point. I genuinely just had my mind blown listening to this for the first time a couple of weeks ago. I just don't know right now if there is anything on the N64 that is better than this piece of music. Obviously, this game has a lot of good music. The first game has a lot of good music. There's a lot more. The first game's a lot more tribal drummy. It has a lot more, like, again, more rhythm. This game has a piece of music that is just, as far as I'm concerned, just mind-blowing. Like, and also bear in mind, this is on an N64. Now, people might not know this. The N64 actually had a very good sound chip. The problem was, the more visuals and graphics and stuff took up, it shrunk down the quality. The N64, I believe, could play like, I don't want to say CD quality, but close to CD quality. If you didn't have anything on screen, you could play very high quality audio. But because of the way the system was designed, the more you used for graphics and other things, the audio quality had to get shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. It's a really interesting system for that. But this just sounds incredible. Right, like I know it's obviously going, using MIDI sort of style instruments. You're going to get those kind of sounds, but I genuinely don't think, like, I don't know what else comes close to this. I'm sure there's stuff out there on the N64, but I never played a huge amount of the games. Like 007 GoldenEye, there's nothing that sounds like this. Perfect Dark, to my knowledge, there's nothing that sounds like this. Obviously, you've got things like Mario and Zelda, but they're not the same. Like, this has a level of sort of that level of epicness, that tension-filled like adventure and things that just nothing else sounds like it. Like I said, there's tracks in the rest of this game that I really like, but this is basically, hey, we need you to get people absorbed on the first level. How do you do that? You make an absolute banger of a track, and people will just want to play on those levels and go, hey man, this music's so great. I need to listen to the, like, you know, play through the game more as well. You know, I need to listen to all the Turok stuff that Darren Mitchell has done. I think he might just be the first two. You know, I've talked about Turok on the Game Boy with Alberto Jose. I hope I got his name right. He essentially made these incredible chiptune tracks for the Game Boy Color versions of these games, and now we got somebody who's done the like Turok clearly has great musicians. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, Darren here has done a phenomenal job, to the point where I'm struggling to think of anything that could possibly beat this on the N64. This track is incredible. Literally, kind of blows everything else out of the water. As much as I like other music and things on the N64, like, yeah, man, this is this is like the bar right now. I kind of did this video for me because I just needed to sit here and talk about, gush over this track, really, break it down for you guys. Go and listen to it on its own without me talking over it. Go and listen to the PC version as well. That is also good. There are some awesome covers on YouTube of this. I never realized how well liked this track was, but clearly I can see why. Yeah, well, you know, I could be back looking at other tracks from Turok 2 in the future, but right now I'm like, I just can't get past how good this is. Like I said, this is up there. Like, to me, this is top 20 best video game tracks of all time. There's a lot of stuff that this shits on, quite frankly, and yeah, I will. This is going in like constant rotation of video game music that I listen to. This is so good. So anyway, I'm sat here just gushing away. Thank you very much for watching the video. As always, if you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, specifically more Turok music, hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below in the description as always. And until next video, I will see you then.